Chords. Tilt. You think by now I kind of have this layout figured out, but nope. It's an experiment each and every time. So let's go ahead and make sure we're up and running. The first of the billions. Ernie, what's good, my man? Thank you for coming. Happy New Year to you and everybody else. Make sure that goes through. Give it a sec here to get set up. Whew. Busy day. Busy day. 5 a.m. wake-up call, to the strip for daily wager, to Studio 2 for bet. Race home to set this up so that we can talk before we launch it in the weekend and the new year. All right. Appreciate all you coming. Let's get into this. We are, in a moment, going to go through, like we usually do, the can pretty much say all your picks after watching all your shows. Yeah, you probably have a pretty good idea of where I'm going here, but I appreciate the support. I have one or two in here that I haven't talked about on a lot of shows because the games haven't come up. So, you know, those could be some new ones. One especially that I forgot about until the last second and then added. Hi, Abby. Good to see you as well. Happy New Year, everybody. A quick reminder, the next stream will be Sunday morning. No Sunday night stream. We got the entire Sunday. Oh, no. We do have a Sunday night game. Washington, Philly. Easy, Fortenbaugh. Easy. It's the end of the year. Take your time. All right. We will have 2 streams on Sunday, like usual. The Sunday morning stream, which will cover every game on the card except that last game. That's at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. We'll cover the whole card there. Following that, we'll have the games, everything goes on with that. And then when the last afternoon game goes final, we will go live again and do the full breakdown for Washington and Philadelphia. Prop side, total, all that good stuff. And then we'll talk about what's coming up next week because we're going to shift the schedule around a little bit. We no longer have, Monday Night Football, but we'll start adding streams to cover the college football semifinal, Saturday streams to cover the playoff games that are on that day. So just stay tuned. Always in the description of each video, I try to include when the next stream is coming up. I'll always post it on Twitter as well. At Joe Fortenbaugh, just follow it there. All right. So that's that. A recap. We haven't spoken since Sunday night. That's when we covered the Monday game as well, because Monday my schedule was very chaotic. So the Sunday night stream covered Sunday Night Football between the Packers and the Titans, as well as the Monday night game between the Bills and the Patriots. Not bad. 4-2. Not bad. We had over 52 points in Packers-Titans, so we got home. We had Derrick Henry over 22.5 rushing attempts. He had 23. Woo! Close. We had Buffalo minus the points on Monday night, and we had Stephon Diggs' longest reception over 25.5 receiving yards. So that was the 4 winners. The 2 losers, Aaron Rodgers over passing yards, and the Buffalo-Tennessee teaser lost. So we go 4-2 overall, 141, 174, and 2. 33 under. Terrible, yes, but not as bad. Slowly but surely, we've cut into this a little bit. So the hope is that over the next 2 streams, get this thing under 30. Let's run through the playoffs, the college football final, get to the Super Bowl, and tip it over back to 500. If I got to do 1,000 props, I'm going to do 1,000 props. But damn it, I want this thing over 500 by the end. Last year it was over 500. This year it's going to be. All right. We will get to the college picks in just a minute. Let's run through some of the point spreads for the NFL. Get our minds right as we approach Week 17. So I'm going to give you the look headline, the point spreads that came out last week, and then I'll give you where they're at now with a little discussion. If there are any questions, happy to discuss. So the first game on the board also happens to be the last game to be played. Philadelphia was a 4-point favorite on the look ahead when they were going to be taking on Washington. there was a lot going on there, right? Alex Smith's injury, Dwayne Haskins on the roster. Philly was looking good with Jalen Hurts. Well, Philly went out and lost again, this time to Dallas. Lots of injuries. Nothing left to play for in that game. Washington cuts Haskins. Defense is solid. Alex Smith might be ready to go. So that thing is shifted from Philly -4 all the way to Washington -2.5. Indianapolis was a 12.5-point favorite against Jacksonville. That is now up to 14. Kind of like the Jaguars there. It sounds sick, but the Colts don't control their own destiny. Of all the teams in the AFC, 5 teams looking for 4 spots, Colts are the ones that have to win and get help, and they might not get any help. And they blew the second half of that game so badly against Pittsburgh. Here comes a sneeze. Ugh. This is great content. Oh, I'm not going to get it out. I was looking at the lights. It didn't work. Oh, no, it's going to be with me all day. Terrible scenario there. Damn, lost my train of thought. So they don't control their destiny. I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if Indy flopped in this spot. If like that loss last week was so gut-wrenching in the second half that they completely blew it. Or if they win this game, but it just doesn't look good. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Remember, the only other win Jacksonville has was week 1. And just to throw this out there, Jacksonville doesn't need to keep losing. They've got Trevor Lawrence. The number 1 pick is locked up. So if they wanted to come out and win, they could. Now, on the flip side, your counterpoint, these guys haven't cared since week 1. They have lost 14 straight games. 14 straight games. I mean, they are hideous. Hideous. I probably can't believe it took this much work to get the number 1 pick. Right? So maybe they play loose and or how about this? Maybe they try and they just get blown out anyway because they suck. That could happen too. So I don't know. I lean to Jacksonville, but everyone's been blowing them out lately. Green Bay was a 5.5-point favorite at Chicago. Both teams have something to play for there. Green Bay wins, they get the number 1 seed. Chicago wins, they're in the playoffs. Chicago can also get in the playoffs if they lose and Arizona loses. They have the tiebreaker over Arizona. Good game, no movement on the spread. Giants were a 3.5-point favorite over Dallas. That has moved 5 points. That is now Dallas -1.5. Jeez. So Dallas looked good against Philly, and the way the playoff breaker in the come on now, in the NFC East works is that the winner of the Cowboy-Giants game wins the division if Philly beats Washington that night, right? So you have no choice but to win here. Both teams have plenty to play for. Once again, Dallas in a situation in Week 17 where they need to win, right? How often has that worked out in the past? And the irony is that Jason Garrett is calling the plays on the other side for the Giants. Cleveland was a 4-point favorite on the look ahead against Pittsburgh. That's up to 9. Ben Roethlisberger will not play. TJ Watt's not going to play. I think they said Casey Hayward was going to sit. Tomlin's going to sit a lot of guys here. Cleveland's facility has been closed the last 2 days because of a possible COVID outbreak. So this game is a mess. I like the Browns team total over 26.5 as of right now. That's where I'm leaning. As we work our way down, Tennessee was a 4.5-point favorite over Houston. Tennessee needs to win to get in. A win gets them the division as well. 7.5. It's now up to 7.5. Houston has no spine. They might be the most spineless team in the NFL this season. They never show up. Getting rolled by, like, everyone's rolling Houston this year. Jacksonville was supposed to be bad, and they're bad, right? Houston wasn't supposed to be awful, and they are terrible. They are so bad. They've got a franchise guy in Watson. They got J.J. Watt on the defensive side. They got nothing. Like, I know everyone loves J.J. Watt for the videos and the leadership. It doesn't seem like his voice travels very far in that locker room, man. It really doesn't. Maybe it does, but they don't show up at all. They don't play a stitch of defense. They fumble. They turn it over in all key spots. They are brutal. Where are we at? New Orleans was laying 6.5 against Carolina, still 6.5. New Orleans has a chance for the 1 seed. They got to get past Green Bay, so they're playing here for something, it appears. That game's real iffy with me right now. New England's was a 10-point favorite against the Jets. That's 3. That was 10. It's down to 3. And a lot of people seem to like the Jets in this one. Whew. Belichick going to go out like that, huh? Cam Newton, what an awful way to go out. Minnesota was a 3.5-point favorite at Detroit. That's up to 6.5. I don't know what Detroit's health situation is going to be. No Dalvin Cook from Minnesota. Family issues. He's out for the finale. So, Tampa Bay, 7.5 over Atlanta. That's down to 6.5. Bruce Arians says everyone's going to play. All right. Tampa Bay has not been a good first half team as of late. Atlanta's not bad in the first half. I'd be looking to Falcons first half there. Baltimore was 12.5 over Cincinnati. That's still 12.5. Buffalo was 5.5 over Miami. That's down to 3. Tua is going to start, which Flores is nuts, in my opinion. He has to win this game, and Tua has not played well. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets benched again. But Buffalo, are they going to rest? Probably at some point, right? Like, if you're watching and you're seeing Pittsburgh rest everybody, maybe get a lead and pull your guys. I don't know. Do you really want to risk everything you've done this season and then watch Josh Allen get hurt in a game that doesn't matter? We'll find out. Kansas City was -3 hosting the Chargers. That swung 6.5 points to Chargers -3.5. Kansas City has the number 1 seed locked up. So the Chargers are the only ones playing for anything here. They've won and covered 3 straight. Wouldn't be surprised if they won and covered in this game. Seattle was a 6.5-point favorite at San Francisco. And when I say at San Francisco, I mean at Arizona. That's where the game's going to be played. Still 6.5. Denver was a 3-point favorite hosting the Raiders. This is now Raiders -2.5. I don't really know what's going on there. I'll have more on that on Sunday. There's probably just something I'm missing. Guys opting out for Denver or whatever it may be. I have no idea, but we'll talk about that Sunday. Rams -4.5 against Arizona on the look ahead. Now Arizona -3, 7.5-point move. Jared Goff got hurt. Kyler Murray's dinged up, but might be playing. I mean, they're betting it like he's going to be playing. No chance I want to back Kingsbury in a serious situation. Might not have an option. All right. There we go. That's the rundown. Fitz has COVID. Which Fitz? Fitzpatrick has COVID? Look at this. This stream is incredible. All right, let's see what's going on here. Am I falling sucker to trolling, or is this just good intel? Of course, I should be going to, let's go, Ryan Fitz. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there it is, Pelissero. Look at you guys. Incredible. Thank you. Tested positive, out for Sunday's game against the Bills. Oh my God. If the Bills want, they can go ahead and knock Miami out of the playoffs. Woo! Woo! You guys are the best. All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Let's get to the college football picks. It's New Year's Eve. I'm sure some of you have some things you'd like to do. Pop a bottle of Cooks, perhaps. Mix it with some OJ. I don't judge. All right. Let's make sure these games are in order so people can follow and this is not chaotic like everything else I try to do these days. All right, where are we starting? I don't have anything on any games that are being played today. Sorry, it's a pass. I liked West Virginia. That got up to 10. Still a pass. We will start with tomorrow. So we got 2 playoffs, and we've got Cincinnati, Georgia, which is going to be the first game we talk about. I am going to lay the 7 with Georgia. Everyone I talk to likes Cincinnati. Everyone. I could be completely misreading this game, and if I am, I'm going to end up losing money as a result. I will be punished for that. Cincinnati has had that darling season, yes. No doubt about it. But they are a bunch of 3 stars and maybe some 4 stars going up against a team filled with 5-star athletes. Georgia will have the size advantage, the speed advantage, the strength advantage, the talent advantage. They'll have all of it. Question for me in this game comes down to whether or not Georgia shows up. I think they do. They have been a much better team with JT Daniels at quarterback. You're going to hear a lot about that tomorrow when you watch this game. That's going to be like the focal point for the broadcast when it comes to Georgia. Georgia without JT Daniels at quarterback this year, 4-2, 29 points per game. So they make the switch for the final 3 games. They go 3-0, averaging 42 points per game. Cincinnati's been fun to watch this season. I can't get that game at UCF out of my head. That took a lot of work. Took a lot of work to get by Central Florida. Central Florida is not that good. That's one of the reasons a team like Cincinnati doesn't get invited to the playoff. They need to annihilate everyone they play because they're not playing anyone good, or at least anyone on the top tier. So when you stumble like that a bit, it's okay. You stumbled a little bit against a team in your class, but this is a huge step up in class. I think Georgia's going to come out to play this game. I'm betting Georgia. I'm laying the 7. Pick number 1. Like I said, if I'm wrong, I pay by losing money. Pick number 2. So now we're at the 2 semifinals for tomorrow. We'll go in chronological order. Bama against Notre Dame. I'm going to play Bama in the first half. We've been doing that quite a bit this year. Lots of people have been doing it. It's been a fantastic bet. Just because it has won in the past doesn't mean it will win in the future. Remember that. It's very important when you're trying to prognosticate. But I don't see any reason to jump off it. That's what it comes down to. I don't see any reason to jump off it. I backed Notre Dame in that game against Clemson. And had Notre Dame losing that game, Notre Dame failing to cover, that's one thing. Notre Dame getting annihilated in that game once again shows it's a really good Notre Dame team, but it's not a great Notre Dame team. Bama's going to lay 11 in the first half here. Bama is number 1 in the country in first half scoring at 29 points per game, right? No one in the country scores more in the first half than they do. They beat their 11 opponents in the first half by an average of 19 points per game. Now, Notre Dame can play defense, but what's the offense going to do, right? Offense didn't do anything last week. What are they going to do in this game? They're going to put points up because Alabama was laying 10 or 10.5 against Florida in the first half of the SEC championship game. And they covered that without much of a problem. And Florida's got a way better offense than Notre Dame. Don't count last night. There were a ton of opt-outs. So I'm just going to continue to ride with this. I kind of want to lay the points with Bama in the game as well. By tomorrow, maybe. I think it's going to come down a little bit. There are some smart guys that are making some good cases for Notre Dame, keeping it close. Huge spread. And remember, Bama doesn't need style points. Win the game, get the starters out, move on to the championship round. So that's what worries me there. I am going to play him in the first half, though, minus 11. The nightcap, I'm laying the 7.5 with Clemson. I'm going to lay that now and score that now. But if I were you, if you want to play that, I'd just wait. I think it goes to 7 before it goes to 8. I think there's going to be Buckeye money getting involved. So I'm here right now recording it live. I'm not saying I'm going to get a future line or, I played it a week ago at this price. That's what we're counting. No, this is the first you're hearing me talk about it. I'm taking what's available now. But I'm advising you, if you like Clemson, it's more likely to go to 7 than it is to 8. That's just my opinion. I think Ohio State is good. I haven't seen any greatness out of them. They played 6 games. They're 6-0. What's their most impressive win? Beating Penn State by 13 points. Penn State stunk this year. Beating Northwestern in the Big Ten Championship. Northwestern doesn't score any points. Like, who did Ohio State beat that would make me think they're a great team? I was told they were supposed to be great. I've seen them be great in the past. They have the potential to be great, but I haven't seen it at all this year. What I know is that their defense this year isn't as good as last year, especially in the secondary. What I know is that Justin Fields has struggled in big games this year. What I know is that Justin Fields is battling a thumb injury on his throwing hand. What I know is that Ohio State has had a wacky up and down season with very little continuity. It's a COVID problem every 3 weeks, right? They're playing, they're not playing, they're playing, they're not playing. They're all over the place. And ultimately, when I watch them play, I haven't seen them look that great. I've seen that from Clemson. I know Clemson can win big. They just did it against Notre Dame. I got Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. Lawrence, since returning, Clemson's 3-0, winning by 31 points per game. Now, here's the issue. Clemson's offensive coordinator, their play caller, is out for this game due to COVID. He's been calling plays there for 5 years. So the quarterback's coach is stepping up. This is a concern for a lot of people, as it should be. I think Lawrence can handle this defense. I don't think this Ohio State defense is as good as they were last year. I think Lawrence is better than he was last year. I think he has a good command of the offense. I'm still playing it. I'm playing it at 7.5. But I do believe that this game is more likely to go to 7 than it is to 8. So if you like Clemson, I think you can wait a little bit. If you like Ohio State, you might want to make sure you get the hook. Just going to throw that out there. So that's where I'm at with that. Clemson minus 7.5. Moving to the weekend. I'm going to play North Carolina plus 7.5 over Texas A&M. North Carolina's had some opt-outs. for this game. They've lost 2 running backs, they lost a wide receiver, and they lost a linebacker. That hurts. I don't love the game nearly as much as I did, but I love the motivation for both teams here. North Carolina hasn't played in a bowl game of this magnitude, a bowl game this big, in 70 years. This is the Orange Bowl. Like, for them, it's a Super Bowl. They haven't been in a game this big for 70 years. This is a huge recruiting tool for Mac Brown. If he wants any chance at coming close to shrinking that gap between his program and Clemson, these are the games where you got to look good. Go out there in the flashy uniform, look good, catch the eyes of the recruits, start bringing in even better prospects. And I think that that's your opportunity here. I think there's plenty of motivation. On the flip side, I wonder about A&M. They wanted to go to the playoff. They had been talking about it for more than a month, probably all season. There was a case to be made, but they didn't get it. So now they're in the Orange Bowl. Is everyone fired up to be there? Maybe. They could show up for this game and play huge. They could blow the doors off of North Carolina. And it's a risk with North Carolina because of the opt-outs, but I'm still going to take a shot on the motivation. I'm going to play North Carolina plus 7.5. I'm also going to play the over in this game, 65.5. Over. It's been coming down because of the opt-outs. Maybe I'm on the wrong side. I'm tired of betting college football unders. I had the Oklahoma under yesterday. Thank God I had Oklahoma to even it out, but good God. I'm playing the over, UNC and A&M. And then the final game, Fiesta Bowl, Iowa State -4 over Oregon. Oregon doesn't qualify for the Pac-12 championship game, yet somehow plays in it, wins the conference, and goes to the Fiesta Bowl. Like, that's nuts. It was supposed to be USC and Washington. Washington couldn't play due to COVID. Oregon gets in. Oregon beats USC. Now Oregon gets to go to the Fiesta Bowl. Incredible. This is where the Pac-12 donks it off, though. Always bet against the Pac-12 in bowl season. I like Matt Campbell, the head coach at Iowa State. This is the biggest bowl game Iowa State has ever played in, right? They've lost 4 bowl games. They haven't been the many in their program's history. Never been to a bowl game of this magnitude. I think they played in like the Peach Bowl in the 70s. That may have been the best prior to this. This is Oregon. This is the Fiesta Bowl. This is huge for this program. Brock Purdy, Matt Campbell, that's where I want my money. I don't trust Oregon's defense. I don't trust the Pac-12. I don't trust anything about that whole situation out there. And when I say out there, I guess I mean out here because I'm in Nevada. I'm right in the heart of all this. So that's that. Iowa State -4. So to recap, Georgia -7, Bama -11 in the first half, Clemson -7.5, UNC plus 7.5, UNC A&M over 65.5, Iowa State -4. Next stream is Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. We'll focus on the NFL card. And then in the afternoon, after the final afternoon game, we will go live to preview Washington, Philly, prop sides, totals, all that good stuff. Any questions? Ayuk first TD a few weeks back. Yeah, that was a nice one. I'll never get over it. You may have had the shittiest season in season history, but I'll always remember that Brandon Ayuk first TD. 12-1. Yeah. I'm glad you played it, William. I'm glad you played it. Every now and again, I'll pull one out of the old rear end. I don't even play a lot of first TDs. I'll let you in on a little secret. So we were doing a rehearsal for something that night. I can't get into details on it. There'll be an announcement soon. But we were doing a rehearsal, and I had that bet, and that's the reason I had looked that up. So I ended up sharing it with you guys. I'm glad it ended up hitting. College basketball picks. You know what? I actually believe I did get a tip. Look at Abby. Look at you guys with the reminders. I don't know if this game tipped off or not. Let me see where we're at here. But yes, I did get a tip on a college basketball game. Tend to pass those along. Pending. All right, so there it is. So let's check what the line is on this now to see if it's even worth giving it to you guys. Because if it's moved too much, it might not even be any good. Good call on that. I told myself to write that down. I was in such a rush, I forgot. All right. Yeah, all right. So this is still playable. Northern Arizona -2.5. 5. They are at Idaho. And that game is at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I don't have any rationale for that. I just know someone smart who's very good at college basketball. This individual is kind enough to keep me in the loop on plays from time to time. And if I can share them with you. And I'm glad you reminded me of that, Abby. Thank you. Because I saw that in there last night and I forgot. I was in such a rush coming home. So hopefully that hits. Northern Arizona -2.5 at Idaho. Cancel everything you're doing for New Year's Eve. You have to watch this Northern Arizona at Idaho college basketball game. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching the stream. You guys are awesome. I'll see you Sunday morning, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Have a great one. Be safe tonight. I want everyone back Sunday morning nice and healthy. And if you're hungover, that's great. That's great. If you're of age or close to it. I'm not advocating that. Erase everything I just said. Happy New Year. Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming.